right to follow people around like that.
I have the right to follow the court. I'm not breaking no laws.
You are.
I'm not breaking any laws.
ID, please.
What law did I break?
How are you driving? You're driving erratic.
You're breaking the law right now by not identifying yourself. My name is Jesse.
You see ID? ID, please.
My name is Jesse.
By law, you gotta give identification.
Yes, to a police officer.
We are officers of the law.
I want a police officer here.
Okay, fine. Police officer.
This was one of the more revealing videos because
ICE is not the real police. They're law enforcement, but they don't have police authority. I call them, I can't believe it's not the police. They're like if the police were made with seed oils, you know? As an American citizen, you should know you have all of the rights. You don't lose any rights when you're around ICE. Your rights don't get frozen, you know? Anybody out there being like, well, you're supposed to obey. No, you have all your rights. You have the First Amendment, you can be like, off, okay? You can even show them your gun. Be like, see that, baby? That's number 2 right there, huh? ICE meet nice, okay? And then you also have the Third Amendment, which is like, you can't stay at my place. You know, it's, they're really like the modern day Gestapo. It really is like Nazi Germany, which is fitting because it's almost the 30s. I know, we're getting old.
Via the great comedian Sammy Obeid, ICE are just running amok through the streets of the United States. The comedian would touch on Minneapolis, where ICE agent and Proud Boys defender Jonathan Ross took the life of Renee Nicole Good.
A woman was murdered in her car. He claims that she was coming at him and trying to hit him with a car. Are you afraid of the bumper of a Honda? He's like, my life was a threat. No, you're afraid of a 3-point turn. Trump puts out a statement saying she was a professional agitator. It's like, no, that's you. Why do we have to politicize everything?
And he, right here, is 100% on the money.
The agent who shot Good has been identified as Jonathan Ross. He's described by the New York Times as a 10-year veteran of ICE. The Times also reporting that court records show Ross was injured last year in Minnesota after he tried to apprehend Roberto Carlos Munoz, a Guatemalan man convicted of sexual abuse in the state of Minnesota. Ross, he's the alleged shooter, he reportedly pulled Munoz over, ordered him to lower his window. When Munoz refused, Ross reportedly pulled out his taser, shattered the window, reached into the car to unlock it, and then got dragged 100 feet as Munoz attempted to drive off. Burroughs from the Times reports that Munoz called 911 to report he himself had been injured after he was attacked by an ICE agent. That would be Jonathan Ross, the alleged ICE agent who shot Ms. Good.
Obeid would then conclude his short with this.
You see all these people saying, ever since Zoran became mayor, look at what happened to Minnie. Like, what the are you connecting those two things? No, she was a radical leftist. All these radical leftists are just trying to harm officers. It's like, what the like, dude, she was a human being. She was trying to get away. Freeze frame, look at the slow-mo. She turns her wheels this way, trying to leave. Her wheels were turned to the right. No, but they're radical leftist wheels. No. This was a white woman. And if that doesn't scare you, white women, that's like a lot of the country, okay? I love white women, and I will speak out for them and fight for them. When anything happens to a white woman, I be Karen, okay? Sorry, I really thought that would break the ice.
Please do support Sammy Obeid by following his work on YouTube and also heading to a show. You could find his tour dates at sammyko.com. Obeid touched on what ICE can and cannot do legally. Emmanuel Malion, an expert in Fourth Amendment rights and policing, and a professor at the University of Minnesota Law School, spoke with Time and said this: the federal government has exclusive jurisdiction to enforce immigration. Malion would also add that state authorities can be federally deputized to assist in immigration enforcement, but with those agreements, state and local law enforcement aren't allowed to engage in immigration enforcement by themselves. Time also wrote of Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker and the mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson. Both of their efforts are being put forth to bar local authorities from aiding and abetting the feds. So the state of Illinois, as I just told you about, and the state of Minnesota sued to limit ICE's presence. Sounds good. However, Malion would be quoted as saying, it doesn't do anything to diminish the authority of an ICE officer or of Customs and Border Patrol themselves. It just means that they aren't allowed to use state and local resources to carry out their work. What we have also seen is this from the ACLU, which everyone should absolutely support. ICE agents have resorted to trickery and deception in order to gain entry into people's homes. Instead of identifying themselves as ICE, they misrepresent themselves as police or probation officers. They use intimidation tactics, tell fake stories designed to lure a person out of their home, or trick people into inviting the agents inside or give up info. Jennifer Whitlock, Senior Policy Counsel at the National Immigration Law Center and immigration policy expert, also spoke with Time and stated that most arrests by ICE are under administrative warrants. They print. These warrants are issued by federal agencies and allow for detentions to be made without a traditional arrest warrant. Here's the thing. ICE officers have curtailed best practices to justify arrests. From Whitlock, one being if the immigration officer has a reason to believe that the person is in the United States unlawfully and likely to escape before a warrant can be obtained. She says that many agents will use this interpretation of the law to deem people in cars flight risks who would otherwise flee the country and must therefore be questioned and detained. We've seen so many novel interpretations of DHS authority over the last year, close quote. As I look at this, I think it is quite clear that the only way to possibly defend from stuff like this is organizing and community building. We have seen how various communities throughout the country, I even saw one today, have protected their own businesses and their own homes by having a ton of people come together like that. The video that I just referenced was this morning in Minnesota. CBS Minnesota actually broke it, where a pizza shop owner saw ICE coming, and people from up and down this street then united into one cohesive unit and basically made a wall to limit ICE from going in. There were probably 2 to 3 agents. They tucked their tails and they left. I have seen schools from throughout the country, across the country rather, that have had whistles and they have tried to tell everyone that ICE is going to be there. Why is ICE going into schools? I thought Republicans wanted to make them safer. Why is ICE going into churches that I have seen in North Carolina? Take a look at if you support this and realize that you, my friends, are the reason we are here. And in turn, you are the villains. Hey, I appreciate you watching. Now, if you can, please do become a channel member by going to youtube.com/TYT Sports and clicking the join button. If that's too much for you, you can just go to tyt.com/join to become a member. It helps all of us out here at the Young Turks and keeps our network afloat. In addition, you could follow me on my socials on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate the love. Have a great day.